Xbox games, smart delivery, and finally an announcement for the new Nintendo Switch. So we got the first announcement for the games coming to Xbox Game Pass in July, and a couple of these are already available on Xbox Game Pass on console or PC, but now will be available on the cloud. The Medium, which as we know was a day one Xbox Game Pass game, and when I played through it, I thought it was an awesome game. It's only about 8 hours long, but for what it was trying to do, I thought it did a very good job with the atmosphere, the settings, and the graphics and stuff like that. Then you have Dragon Quest Builders 2, which I have been playing here and there on the Xbox Series S, and now it's available on the cloud. And I think this is a perfect cloud game because it's one of those games where you kind of just want to quickly jump in, you do some stuff, kind of level up your character, harvest some plants, things like that, build some rooms and buildings and whatever you're doing, and it'll be perfect on mobile. Then UFC 4, which will be available on console, Bloodroots, cloud, console, and PC, Tropico 6, cloud, console, and PC, and Farming Simulator 19 for cloud, console, and PC. Overall, not the biggest slate of games. I'm sure there's going to be some more Xbox Game Pass announcements as we move through the month, but let me know which out of these 6 games that you are going to check out. Now moving on here to a non-Xbox Game Pass game, and a smaller announcement, but overall I think a great thing and a big thing for Xbox. It is that King of Fighters 15 has officially been announced to be coming out for the Xbox Series X and S, and why it is big is because King of Fighters 14 did not make its way out onto the Xbox. Now, King of Fighters is definitely a very popular fighting game, but I guess you could consider it a more niche style of game. It doesn't have the biggest, broadest range of fans out there, but it is still a very popular fighting game, and it's good to see that Xbox is starting to get more of this stuff back on to the platform, kind of reminding us back with the Xbox 360 days where these companies really took Xbox seriously, meaning that they think it could be a force in the Japanese market and a force in just the overall console market where people are going to want to be able to pick up and play these games. I've always enjoyed King of Fighters. I'm not like the biggest fighting game fan because really I'm just terrible at fighting games unless I put a ton of time into it, which I think that's for most people as well. But this looks interesting. I may actually check out King of Fighters 15. Smart delivery is now again proving just how important it is, and that it was not just a buzzword when Xbox used it to market the console, telling you that when you transition from the last generation over to the Xbox Series X and S, it's going to be seamless, it's going to be easy. You're not going to have to worry about your saves not transferring or that you're playing the wrong version of a game, as we've seen these problems crop up all the time with the PlayStation 5. It also was recently popping up with Doom Eternal, and some people were thinking that it was just because Bethesda's owned by Xbox and they were kind of trying to hurt the PlayStation users, which was obviously not the case. We are now even seeing this with a Plague Tale Innocence, with PS4 players going over to the PS5. So here is what is going to have to happen if you're on the PS4. It says PS4 to PS5, make sure to download the latest patch on PS4 before starting on PS5 to get your cloud save. With Xbox One to Xbox Series, automatic cross progression. So you have nothing to worry about on the Xbox. Now, going through the comments here, it seems even worse than just what that says, because people are asking if they got rid of their PS4 that they won't be able to update the game. And the response is here, they can get the update but not their save without re-downloading the PS4 version of the game to the latest version, recovering their game saves, then installing the PS5 version to move the saves. And then this question was asked, so if you traded in your PS4 for PS5, does that mean you won't get your save data when you boot the game up on your PS5? And I don't think that's correct, because this person here says it is not correct. You could still download the PS4 version of the game on PS5 and then access the cloud save stuff. I guess you're just downloading 2 copies of the game. So it's just a big headache, because as it also says here, is that in reality, there are probably 4 versions of the Xbox game now for the One S, the X, the Series S, and the Series X, but the console will only download the ideal version. That's a stroke of genius compared to Sony's current approach. And that's it right there in a nutshell, is that Xbox obviously had a lot of forward thinking, knowing that in the first couple of years of these next generation consoles, there's going to be a lot of this stuff happening, where there are games that were released on the last generation, they're going to get a next generation version. You're going to want to bring over your saves. You're not going to want to have to re-download both of the games and then do all this weird stuff to make sure that your save file works. And smart delivery is turning out to be probably the most needed feature right now with these next generation consoles, and Xbox did a great job implementing this. And finally, moving on here to some non-Xbox news, but it kind of incorporates the Xbox if you think about it, because it is a new competitor to the next generation consoles. And to me, it is a new Nintendo Switch, but overall it is very disappointing, because really all it is an updated screen on the current Nintendo Switch. And then I guess you get an Ethernet port in the dock itself, where there were so many rumors floating around about a Nintendo Switch Pro. It was going to be more powerful. You're going to be able to output in 4K when you put it into the dock, and none of that is around. It's just a bigger screen. It's an OLED screen, which obviously an OLED screen makes a big difference compared to the current screen on the Nintendo Switch. For me personally, it's not anything that I'm that excited about, because I play my Nintendo Switch mostly docked with my Pro controller. I don't really take it out of the dock too much, so I don't know how much that screen is going to benefit me. I probably will end up looking at picking it up, just because that's what I do. I pick up all this new technology. I like to check it out and like to see what it's all about. But overall, if you have a Nintendo Switch, this upgrade really is just the screen. There's no more power, nothing like that. And maybe they decided to go that route because they didn't want to make developers have to adjust the way that they are developing the games with the more powerful Nintendo Switch. Now, the pricing for this new Nintendo Switch is going to be $350 US, and I believe probably around like $450 Canadian dollars. I'm assuming that's what it's going to end up looking like. But that puts this right between the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X in pricing. So it will be interesting to see what that does if somebody walks into a store and they see the ability that they can pick up an Xbox Series S and also get Game Pass for less amount of money than just picking up the OLED Nintendo Switch. If maybe that will sway people walking into stores. I mean, there's definitely a different like user base that each of these consoles are appealing to, so it may not have a direct correlation, but I think $350 is a decent price, because it is also a portable console. It does have an OLED screen, and it does have a bigger screen. I believe the original Nintendo Switch launched at $299, and then if you look at that console right now and you're comparing it to this bigger screen, it definitely is going to look a lot worse. But I was just disappointed that there wasn't some sort of upgrade to the actual hardware within inside of the Switch itself to just make games run better frame rates and higher resolutions, and then charge maybe like $3.99 for it. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Let me know out of these 6 games if you're interested in checking any of them out. Are you a King of Fighters fan? Or are you going to check out King of Fighters 15 on the Xbox? Let me know what you think about the big Nintendo Switch announcement today with the new OLED version. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you like what you saw throughout this video, you thought it was entertaining, informative, I'd really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button to help this channel grow and help grow this community. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.